guys, Justin Pico back with you for another video. Just wanted to give you a little bit of an update of what's happening in the marketplace. Obviously in the last couple of months we've seen some pretty drastic changes with a lot of banking and lending policies and all those type of things. So yeah, first one, probably the most important one, is interest rates. So we've seen the RBA finally lift the cash rate in just over a decade, and yeah, it's pretty crazy to see how the banks have been responding to this one. Most of our variable rates, where we were kind of sitting at the 1.99s, 2%, they've now kind of all started to have their 0.25% increase passed on. So now you're kind of looking around that kind of low twos, mid twos for your owner occupied, cheaper type of stuff. But the days of things in the 1% category, I think, are definitely beyond us now. So if you did lock in for 4 or 5 years, 12, 24 months ago, well done to you. Obviously enjoy those out for as long as you can. But I suppose for the other people who fix for the 1 to 2 years, we're obviously going to be looking at a time that once we come out of those time frames, we then need to obviously have a look at what we've got in the options basket as well to see, we're going to refix, refinance, restructure, whatever the case is. What we've seen the big banks do is actually kind of lift their fixed interest rates ahead of these announcements. So, a 1 to 2 year fixed rate now is kind of around that 4% mark. So you can see here we were dealing in the 2%, now we're dealing back up in the kind of high 3% and 4%. So it has been quite a drastic change. So for people in the Sydney and Melbourne markets that have really stretched themselves, I think there's probably going to be a little bit of pain there. But if you're looking at those kind of fundamental properties in that southeast Queensland area or some pockets of Adelaide where the rental yields and returns are quite good, on that side of things, it's probably not going to be too bad because your rental returns are so good, and you've obviously got the buffers there too. I suppose the other part too is that the banks, when they do their assessments, they always add a 3% buffer on top. So even though you might have borrowed at 2%, they would have had to assess you at 5% to make sure you can make the repayments before they gave you the money. So in terms of your budgets, definitely have a look at that. If you've got obviously investment properties, maybe have a look at if we can increase the rent to obviously help kind of mitigate some of those increases in the interest rate rises. And obviously with demand in some of those fundamental properties that we look at, you should be okay. And hopefully there's some room to move to mitigate that. But yeah, in terms of interest rates, it's something that is definitely important, but it's not always the main purpose of what you might need your loans for. But for investors, as long as you've got solid rental yields and returns, and you've got your portfolio structured correctly and buffers in place, then we should be fine. But obviously anyone else who's kind of stretched themselves in an owner occupied scenario, kind of really stretch themselves to get there and have any concerns, obviously review your budgets, but feel free to reach out and give us a call if you have any questions there. Obviously we want to make sure that everyone's being looked after, haven't overstretched themselves, and are in a position where we can move forward and hopefully continue to grow. If you have any questions, give us a call, email, text, whatever it is, and yeah, look forward to working with you again soon. Cheers.